The Australian government's deployment of their decision-making style has definitely been a major contributing factor as to why the COVID-19 vaccine rollout scheme has been labelled an operational disaster. Our team's in-depth analysis indicates that government's utilisation of a directive style of decision-making has forced them to implement the inefficient characteristics of having a low tolerance for ambiguity and far too task-oriented approach of the rollout scheme. To further explain, ambiguity is defined as the quality of being open to more than one interpretation. Having low ambiguity thus means that the government has failed to consider the necessary external factors that could affect the project, and this in turn has led them to being in the poor position they're in today. In addition, with the government's pursuit for speed and results, they have actually put the vaccine supply chains at increased risk of breaking down, with approximately 40% of the resources put into this project going to waste, further reinstating why their poor employment of decision-making style has contributed to the current operational struggle. To combat the lack of ambiguity within their current decision-making style, if the government were to transfer to a contrasting analytical style, they would be able to significantly enhance their ambiguity levels. This will be by thoroughly analysing the external factors that could possibly disadvantage the operation and coming up with more quality alternative solutions. In addition, the Australian government's failure to use sufficient evidence-based decision-making methods throughout the rollout operation is another contributing factor as to why the program has fallen so behind. During the implementation of the nation's initial vaccine rollout plan, the Conversations article states that the government has sufficient evidence of the potential issues that could arise during the operation based on the experiences of other countries, but failed to consider this with any degree of concern. The reason why the government has been unable to implement proficient evidence-based decision-making methods can be explained within an academic article written by the Harvard Business Review as shown on the screen. Of these factors, the one that is most relevant is the fact that in these unfamiliar times, there isn't enough good evidence for the government to consider. However, to combat this issue in the future, the Harvard article backs that the government should utilise even more research and analytics to create more evidence and utilise these resources to ultimately employ a more evidence-based decision-making criteria in the adjusting of the current vaccine rollout operation.